So next we have is the restoring of records, like clearing. Once we restore the records, that's a record is getting orphaned, and resurrection or restore is something that we did in the last PI. When we restore the records, we are giving an option to clear the values that has been set by orphans. So in this example that you have seen, there are a couple of values that was being set when it became orphan. Now, when a record is back into the integration, we'll allow to clear those fields if they are not mapped to the field mapping. So the way we work is like, as said, like when two applications are synchronized, if a record is removed, moved out of the integration, the corresponding record is flagged as orphaned. And once it is flagged as orphan, we actually set the orphan settings, or the orphan rules are set. And when these record gets back into the integration, the synchronization between the two records should start happening, and whatever the rules is being set by orphans. And to be conscious here, it is only the rules that is set. Based on the set capability, we'll be able to clear the values that is being used by set using the restore settings. And we'll only be able to clear a value, at least for now. That's what we have implemented it. If a record is restored, we are not giving any options for setting another field value in there. So we'll be whatever ConnectALL has been set by the orphan settings, ConnectALL will give you the capability to clear those values. So that's something that we have done. In the UI, in the restore setting, we have introduced a capability in here under the orphan settings. You'll see a section for restore settings. Under restore settings, we'll give options for all the values that has been set in the orphan setting can be used in the restore setting, and those fields that was being set can be cleared via the restore setting. That's what we are actually doing as part of this feature. The configurations will be something very similar, which I can show it on the demo. So if you have, for example, in this example where I say nodes, tags, and plan estimate, any of the fields that is actually a string, or any value that you have, whichever you have set here, and this field is not there on your field mapping, those fields will filter it over here, and we'll be able to make it as blank. So what value it was being set by ConnectALL, once the record gets restored, we can go ahead and clear it off. So that's what we have done as part of this. And on the if once the record orphaned, restored, passed, failed in other activity or on the related activities, we have introduced a concept where you can go and see the status. This will be a little different from what we have seen before. Before it was a toggle. Now we have introduced this drop down. You can go and select this drop down if you want to see whether the record has been synchronized, whichever record has been orphaned, passed, failed, or restored, passed, failed. Those options we are giving it on the related artifact. Same thing on the activity monitor also, we will actually have options where you can see the records that has been orphaned, records that has been restored, and restored update will be there. For example, a record is restored, and then a value has been updated on that restored record. So that will be the status that you will see on the first time. So these are all like, yeah, on the activity monitor, we'll have this options that says restore updated, which means the record is restored and an update has happened on that particular record. And we also have a restore failed, because when you're trying to update something on that restored record, and if there is a failure, if a field is not getting accepted, or because of some reason there is a failure, we'll also have the restore failed getting displayed. Only difference is like any of the orphaned, restored, everything for now we are keeping it as gray. There was some I think there was a conversation that happened some time back, like can we have it as a different color code, which is something that we can definitely think about it. But for now, all the status of orphaned and all the status of restore are in gray on the activity monitor. This is more of how we can set it. And also another difference that we had, or from the previous 3.6 to 3.7, was like we had a bug in our 3.6 where we were not able to keep unidirectional restorations, like, or orphan settings, wherein we had to select all the options. In this 3.7, we have that issue has actually been fixed. You will always be able to set orphans on just one side of the adapter or application that you wanted to restore or orphan it. The other side, which means orphan settings will never be applied. So we can always set unidirectional, and we can also set just unidirectional orphan and resurrection to happen. So these are all how it works, and I've given an example, like, when you create a story in Rally and in Jira, how this behavior works. I'll quickly show a demo which is easier to absorb. And something that's a little different from what we had last time is like, this is a small name changes that we have brought in on the application. If it was like initially it was called as rules, now we have changed that to orphan settings, restore settings, and our schedule is going to remain the same. We have not touched the schedule. It will still process the last 3 months of data. Let me quickly show the demo on the registration part. I'm using the same automation because in the same automation, actually, I've set this conditions. I can also show you another automation where we have just a unidirectional, so that we can. So in this, this is the same automation that we did for prefix and suffix, where I'm doing between Rally and Rally initiative and ServiceNow demand. I have a couple of fields that I've set it here. And I also have the orphan strategy that is set here. So in the orphan strategy, I can do set, I can do prefix, clear, suffix. When it comes to the restoring records, this is how we have. You can either you can just say that, I don't care about restoring on one side of my system. I only care about restoring on the other side. We can still continue to do that. Or I don't care. I don't need orphan strategies to set on one side, on the source or on the destination. I can still go ahead and do that. So in this case, like, I've set the assumptions, descriptions, close nodes, active, out of scope, and business cases. These are all the values that are set or prefixed. When you come in here for the restoration, this restoration will bring filtered only based on what you have set. So in this case, assumption, I will be able to pull it from here and out of box. Nothing else that I have set will come in here. And another condition that we have to check is like anything that is actually part of your field mapping, which means it goes into normal synchronization flow, because a field mapping will take always the first precedence when a record gets restored. So this field mappings, whatever you have mapped will not get displayed here. Here we'll only display anything that is not there on the field mapping and what you have set here on the orphan settings. Only those values you will be able to pull it down here, and we'll be able to run the automations. So let me quickly show this demo. So the best example that I can show in here is like, if you see this side, set nodes is there, and nodes will be there on my field mapping. Since nodes is there on my field mapping, when I'm trying to, since it is set, when I try to drop down to select the nodes, you will not be able to see the nodes in here because field mapping will always take the precedence. I just wanted to show that example. So let me go in to the record that just got orphaned. So that was on my, okay. Give me a second. Let me just pull this up. So based on this example, whatever record that I got orphaned, or I can show a new record so that we can see it quickly. Let me close this. So I'm going to add. This is sweet. And I have another mapping that I've done here on the integration. So let me create this. So the record is created. Let's do.
Third one.
So yeah. So now these values have come up here. Let me go ahead and orphan this record and then let me resurrect it. So the values are all the orphan setting values are all updated. Now let me resurrect it back. Recycling. It's restructured. Now let me run it. The record is updated. Now, whatever value that I have given here, the assumptions and out of scope would have been cleared. So assumptions had a value, it has been cleared, and out of scope had a value, which was cleared. So this is what we have done as part of our resurrections. And only something that we are continuing to do in our next PI is like, today what happens is like when a record gets resurrected, whichever field was last modified, that will start synchronizing between both the sides if there is a bidirectional sync that has been set. In our upcoming PI, what we are doing is like the restored record would always take the precedence based on the directions in which we are actually setting the automations. So that's something that we are coming up in our upcoming PI. So this is what we have done as part of Orphans. Any questions? Should I pause here for questions?